weights today. So there won't be a lot of loud banging noises. I'll just show you what I do to warm up. Band work for the shoulders and then some other stuff. And then of course, we'll definitely get into the word today. We'll do the next psalm, number 3, and we'll talk about that one. It's not anything too crazy. It's sort of the first psalm in Psalms that really focuses in on just life and how it feels sometimes, and then being reminded that God is there. God is fighting for us. God is protecting us when it seems like everybody else is against us. And I love how it seems like that, even though it's never true, but it's just that feeling and that sense of that, and yet God is always there, directly, literally, and then other times, of course, he uses people to communicate that we're not alone. We've got people, so I think it starts off by saying, Lord, how are they increased the trouble? Like there's more and more and more people, it seems. Many are they that rise up against me. And then it gets personal. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. So on the one hand, you've got all the people coming after you saying that you're hope, like God can't even help you, which is a really stupid thing to say. Like God can't do something like that. I mean, sure, there's certain things God can't do because he said he's not going to do them, not because we prevent him from doing them. His own character and nature are what prevent him from doing certain things, like lying, for example. But anyway, I digress. But thou, O Lord, art the shield for me. So right after saying that the other side is saying there's no help for him in God, next verse, but thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory and the lifter up of mine head. So while the one group is saying without, God can't even help you, the very next verse says, yes, God not only can help you, that God is, you are a shield. That's like a present tense word there. Not will be a shield, not were a shield. You are a shield, like right now. God is your shield. And then he says, I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. So God answers prayer. God answers his people. And so he goes, I lay me down and slept. I awaked, for the Lord sustained me. How many people sleep badly? It seems like nowadays you hear about that all the time. But if you've got sleep, good sleep, and the Lord sustained you, I think the obvious interpretation of that verse is that it was good sleep. Pretty sure you can't have good sleep without God helping you. If God's giving you good sleep, I mean, that's a pretty good thing to have. So I think it's important to remember that, if God's involved, everything's going to be good. It doesn't matter what the enemy is saying, what the enemy is doing, how people are, interpreting it or taking it. Because I do love that contrast of, it's probably my favorite little contrast in this short little chapter. It's just how, there's no help for him in God. No, God is my shield, actually. Sorry, y'all were wrong. And then he says, I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me around about. So, again, man, with God on your side, 10,000 people can be around you and saying that you're you wrong, or we're going to get you, or whatever the case might be. And it doesn't matter, 10,000 people. Now, I've never had that many people coming at me at one time. And maybe it's a bit hyperbolic, because I'll say the same thing. I don't care if there's, I don't care if there's 100 of you, that sort of thing. He's probably exaggerating a little bit, because most people I've had coming at me at one time, I don't know, 8, 10, something like that. But it is like a thing. He says, "Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all my enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly." So it's nice to know that you're not even having to do the fighting alone. I mean, how many times, do we see in the Old Testament in particular, when you're looking at like literal fighting, was, Israel going into the promised land, and then they're sitting there like at Jericho, and other times, but Jericho, of course, being the first and most famous, and you've got, they're walking around 7 times, and then it comes down to it that, God breaks the walls down, and, there's so many little details throughout the rest of the battles that get overlooked because we get, excited about that one. Always go to that story first, but there's some other good ones in Joshua, I promise, where God was fighting for Israel and working out the details and making things happen, making things work in their favor because they were his people. So salvation belongs unto the Lord. Thy blessing is upon thy people. So again, really short psalm, really simple message out of it today. It's just about God being a personal God that's going to take care of his people. And so I don't think we can discount the importance of little psalms like that to encourage us. And I think it's important to point out that a psalm written like that is in the Old Testament, talking about some things that were harder for them to know about God than today. God wasn't as personal as he is now, or at least he wasn't appearing as personally. He's always been personal. Just read, again, a psalm like that, and you'll realize people got it. They just didn't have everything that we have, of course, and that made it a little more difficult to understand. But they were able to grasp it, and they were able to put it into a psalm like that. So, yeah, it's really short, really simple. I'm going to do a couple more of the little warm-up stretches I do before doing some squatting. So, just so you can kind of see how some of that looks. And this one's probably the most, I don't know, maybe they're all weird because people don't stretch. But I do this one for deadlifts and I do this one for squatting. And it's really part of getting my hips right. But obviously I don't want to take too much time stretching, so I don't run out of time to actually lift. Because that matters too, right? So with that being said, I'm going to turn the camera off and just say, have a good day if you want to.